because we were so much in debt and basically blaming it on me. Anyways, so I confronted her, and it was quite weird because when I left, I didn't feel better about knowing the truth. I actually felt worse. I will tell you that honestly, by the time I left, I felt like I was being systematically plucked from my position in my family, and he was trying to place himself into it, try to weasel his way. Now, I should point out that with my family, I never really felt like I fitted in. I feel, and this is my opinion, that they're all backstabbing, gossipy. They're not happy unless somebody else is extremely miserable. And unfortunately, when they didn't have anyone outside of the family to pick on, I became the target. So it was constant belittling and basically dissecting my life and telling me everything I've done wrong and what I continue to do wrong. But anyways, I also found out that they had been communicating since day one, practically, via email, cards, letters, telephone calls. I found out he had also borrowed large sums of money from my mother, and she had told me that the reason she had not gotten any of that back was because he said it was my doing, that I was making it impossible for him to pay it back, which I would never have done. For one, I didn't know about it, and for two, I would never have done anything to jeopardize my parental-child relationship at that time. It took me a couple months after that point to work up the nerve to leave, again, because I was fat, and you always have those voices, whether they're lent from friends or family members or exes or whatever, telling you that no one's going to love you, no one's going to bother you, have too much baggage, whatever. I did leave, and that started a tumbling effect to where any time I called to speak with my mother, I was constantly berated over the phone about why I was doing what I did. I should be thankful that, you know, he was with me and willing to take on the responsibility of me, which I never asked for another parent. You know, it was just, she didn't agree with my opinion about doing what I thought was best for me and my life at that time and my children and everything. Yeah, it's really hard to have a parent not agree with you, for one. And it's even harder to have a parent who doesn't agree with you but wants you to stay in a situation that is just horrible because, you know, they feel it's correct, or they're not understanding that they're being used or manipulated by this other person. I should tell you that whenever I spoke to my mom, my family and stuff, it was always me calling them. And whether it was daytime, morning time, nighttime, when she at work, if she was at home, whatever, she always used the excuse that she didn't have time to talk. Having a conversation with her was like trying to pull teeth. It was horrible. It was painful. It was just awkward. And there's only so much time, or so many times you can use the excuse that this isn't a good time, saying that I would call constantly to try and get her to talk to me. The few times that I actually did get into an actual conversation, it would always be turned around to how I was messing up my life and how I was making wrong decisions and things of this nature. So one day I woke up in the morning and I was having a very stressful day, and I decided I wasn't going to call that day because I just couldn't hear the yak 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 in my ears and you know, the you're wrong and all this. I just didn't want to hear it. And that day turned into a week, and that week turned into a month, and the month went on to several months into a year. You get the drift. And I basically broke off all contact, and that has been since 2003. I'm not recommending what I did. because for me, it seemed the better of two evils. Okay, and for others, you may think that you're in that type of relationship, but maybe some counseling or something could help you. But for me, it's what I felt needed to be done. And I walked away, and I would like to point out that as all this time went on, I was always in the same spot with the same phone number for 2.5 years, I think it was, and they never called. Okay, so it's not like I was dodging them trying to figure out what happened to me. It was like I was erased immediately. Nobody cared. The reality, unfortunately, of doing something to this effect is during the years, you have holidays, which are very family orientated, are hard. Mother's and Father's Days are hard. But that sadness that I feel every so often throughout the year is not as bad as the sadness I felt every day when I had to talk to them, or I had to listen to them yell at me or whatever. And I would like to point out that I am on the verge of tears, but it's not from regret of what I did. It's from the fact that I feel robbed of what I could have had. And that might seem kind of weird, but I never wanted the Brady Bunch. I've never wished for that. But I did always fantasize about that family, that sticks together and they're there to lend a shoulder, whether you've done something wrong or not. They're there to share in your joy. They're there to share in your hardships. I never got that. But, yeah. Anyways, that's what worked for me, as far as I'm concerned. I had to get rid of that baggage, because it was just emotionally tearing me up. Time has gone on, and in 2007, I did receive an email. My father had passed away, and it was months and months and months after the fact. And most people would think I'd be thankful that somebody actually told me. But the fact that the email contained the words, we don't want to see you around his tombstone, we don't want anything from you, yada yada. I think it was just used as a way to just try and inflict a little bit more pain on me, for whatever reason, because that's what makes them happy. I don't know. But anyways, the rest of my family, I have no idea what's going on with them, and I don't care. I can't care less. In 2007, I also met the man that I'm now married to, and I began writing a novel. My novel was published in 2008, and it's a horror, thriller, suspense type novel. You have to have a really strong stomach to read it. So people are confused by the fact that I'm an author, but I'm also unemployed. And that is because basically if you're a published author and you're not on the bestseller list, or people aren't buying your book by the thousands every month, you're not going to get a royalty check big enough to allow you to have 6 months worth of living until your next royalty check. So yeah, I do consider myself still a PA who just happens to be published. I am working on my second novel now, which is more geared towards families. I'm writing something that can be read by children and adults alike, basically bringing the family units together, because that's how I deal with my lack of not having a family, is I live through trying to help others so that they don't make the same choices I had to. And so yeah, that's what I do. Again, I will add another vlog I know this has been done in 2 parts, but I also had questions about my dietary eating, so dietary habits, so I will post a blog for that too after this one, and then that should do it, I think. If you've been watching and following, thanks a lot. I hope nobody thinks I'm a horrible cow. But again, it's all a matter of personal choice, the things we do in life. Yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will be back as usual on my weekly weigh-in, and then also with blogs whenever the need arises. I actually do find this is quite therapeutic for me. Getting this out there and just even opening up and just talking out loud, even though I'm not talking to anybody specifically. It's quite therapeutic. It makes me feel less stressed. So, thanks again, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.